Tika TV. Shout out to Two Raw. Shout out to 7A Sports. Shout out to a lot of people that's picking up this story. And yeah, like I said before, um, this situation involving Joy Reid, Skip Bayless, and Fox executives, you know, this woman in question filed a 42-page lawsuit, pointing out and pinpointing a lot of accusations towards Skip Bayless, um, and other Fox executives. And basically, she outed um, Joy Reid. Excuse me, I don't know why the fuck I keep saying Joy Reid, but Joy Taylor, Jason Taylor's sister, former NFL player. When we're just scratching the surface of this story, wow, a lot of stuff is coming out. And we're going to have a serious discussion about ethics, moral compass, and narratives that's always being pushed, and politics. And we're going to dive deep into this whole situation about women in sports. And I'm going to dive deep into it. Some people ain't going to like what I have to say, but it is time to have this conversation. We're going to have a conversation about eye candy or knowledge. Because now Joy Taylor is proving that she basically, you know, basically she did favors to get where she is. She really didn't have the qualifications, and according to these reports, she did a lot of favors. And basically, she was a jump off. She was a thought pocket, and not to mention that she was a person that cheated on her spouse. And it appears that she had a master plan to pull you know, the Me Too, or basically try to Harvey Weinstein this dude. And she nasty work. And it just proved that she's all about herself. And it also poses the question, or should I say, we now have the answer. No, you do not believe all women. And for people to be pushing that notion and that narrative, that's basically misandry within itself. Because you saying basically because she's a woman, she's automatically telling the truth. And it's been proven since the beginning of time. Nobody is more deceitful and better at stretching or not telling the truth than women in most cases. Do men lie? Of course. Are they slime ball men? Of course. But the problem is, we're talking about Joy Taylor being a slime ball. And on behalf of the black community, Joy Taylor is half is only half black. So I'm not gonna let y'all put that on black women. As far as I'm concerned, she's white. So we gonna put that on white women. We're not gonna attach that to black women. So, I'm gonna ride with black women on this one. So don't attach that to black women and black people, because she's not one of us. So basically, at the end of the day, she was willing to stoop to all levels to keep her spot. And I wonder how the media is going to treat this. I can't wait to see if the View is going to talk about this, because at the end of the day, they like to push this narrative and this agenda to, no matter what the situation is to make women the victim and criminalize anybody else that's attached to this. Make it everybody else's fault except the woman's fault. That's what a lot of those shows like The View and other women oriented shows try to do. No matter how much evidence points to the woman, somehow, some way, they try to play spin doctor and try to indoctrinate bullshit to make you somehow feel like this person is a victim when they're actually the perpetrator. So you've been hearing about this stuff all day about Joy Taylor. This really raises a lot of questions about her personality and her character. She's showing me she doesn't have much character. But then again, over the years watching her and how she conducts herself, this sense of entitlement, and she always showed sometimes unprofessionalism and sometimes a terrible attitude. But now you wonder how she got where she was. She really didn't have the experience. She was supposed to be like some kind of bartender. So now you're hearing about all this stuff pertaining to her. You have to wonder how she got her position. Well, I think we know now. I think we have the answer how she got her position. She did favors. She offered a lot of, you know, lip service. And, the shop was and the shop was open and she opened up the shop. No make no, you know, no qualms about that. Make no mistake. That's basically what, according to the documents, according to the affidavits and the paperwork pertaining to the lawsuit, that's what she pretty much did. And that basically she was messing around with a FS1 executive and Emmanuel Acho at the same time. And now you have questions about him. Now, keep in mind, this dude likes to portray himself and pass himself off as a devoted man of God and Christian and all that kind of stuff. But here he is involved in something like this. This is one of the reasons why a lot of black men have shied away and left the church, because you keep hearing about these situations. But at the same time, these are the same dudes that'll say, well, nobody's perfect. Everybody makes mistakes, but you the dude that want to pass yourself off as if you're better than everybody. This is one of the reasons why a lot of people had issues with Christians and stuff, because they came across as if they're mistakeless, they're better than everybody, they don't make no mistakes, they follow the Bible to the T, when that's the furthest from the truth. E40 said it on one of his songs, the biggest hypocrites be in the church. That is so true. But this isn't about going in on religion, but this is about talking about what goes on in the corporate world, what goes on in broadcasting and stuff. Like I said, it makes you ask this question not only in the case of, you know, Joy Taylor, well, on other networks, when you start seeing all these women popping up. I'm going to say this again. I do not think that women should be, excluded from covering sports. But then you see this thing where they're going out of their way to compensate them and possibly put them in positions that they don't deserve to be in because of, you know, politics and because of political correctness. It's funny how they tell us as black people, well, you shouldn't get into a certain college, you shouldn't get a certain job because of your skin color. That's not fair to everybody else. That's putting in work. Okay, well, that should apply to women as well. You shouldn't get a job at a sports network if you didn't earn your spot. And that basically you used your body to get where you were. Is that fair to dudes like me? Is that fair to other dudes that's deserving of that spot? But people not gonna really have them conversations because women is gonna duck this conversation because they're gonna try to use victimhood and that everybody is against them and that they're always victims and everybody is picking on them. But at the same time, they will use their body for advancement. And this is why some guys just when they hear about these type of situations, they like, yeah, whatever. Yeah, whatever. I don't believe it. We need more proof. You go into these situations with hesitation. These is truly these type of situations where you got to be like, let's wait till we hear more facts. But I can tell you right now, it's not looking good for Joy Taylor because it looked like she was on the verge of setting that dude up. Basically, if they tried to get he did this to me and I feel violated and all this kind of stuff. And women need to be protected. And like I said before, this is why a lot of dudes, when they hear about these type of stories, they don't feel that bad. Why they proceed with caution. It's been over 20 years and we still thinking about what happened with the Duke lacrosse team. We still thinking about what happened in other incidents where women falsely accuse men of doing things or um, being who they say they are when they're not. This is why you have the problem where dudes don't approach women no more, but these are the same women that's talking about why won't dudes approach them. These are the same women. If you go into a gym and you take one look at them, you may think she's attracted. She's very attractive and think she's good looking, and you just give her a look. You don't stare her down and grab your crotch and all that stuff. You just give her one look like, okay, she's fly. But now they make you feel uncomfortable, like even looking at somebody. Like if you look at a woman and you are a man, a heterosexual man, they make you feel like he's some kind of pervert. You have the right to look at somebody. So that's what I mean by this is what you call straight shaming. That's all they're doing is straight shaming you. And that has been a movement they've been pushing for a while. And it started with your guy, Obama, talking about toxic masculinity. Toxic masculinity is another way for straight shaming. Yeah, you right to get to the top. They give top. Yeah, they top. They top you off. Yeah, they top you off. That's exactly correct. They top you off. Or spread their legs like butter. So you exactly right. But this is the environment that we're in. This is the environment that they're living in, where basically straight men, heterosexual men, are under attack for being men, for being straight, for being attracted to women. Now I'm not going to use that word wokeness because I don't like that terminology. Because like I said, I don't even like the idea that they took that terminology and rebranded it. But they do that a lot with anything that we come up with. They change the definition of it, they reword it, they rearrange it, and then all of a sudden it's attached to something else. But like I said before, that's been the mode of, in particularly um, the Democrats. Like I said, toxic masculinity is nothing more than a terminology for basically straight shaming somebody. I thought that's the whole purpose. They made it uncool to be a heterosexual male. They made it uncool to be attracted to women without being demonized or being made out to look like you're some kind of pervert. There's a difference between looking then extensively staring at somebody. Now, if you walk in front of somebody and give them a quick look, that's okay. Now, if you walk and stand in front of somebody and stare them down and constantly look at them and you following them, okay, then that's creepy. That would be considered creepy behavior. But if you take one glance at somebody and then all of a sudden, oh my God, I can't believe you're doing this. Oh my God, you're undressing me with your eyes. You're like, what? Stop it. But like I say, this will be the same women that'll be talking about in a year or two. They can't get a date. Nobody want to approach them. They feel lonely. Why won't any man approach them? And they're losing their self esteem as a woman because of this type of stuff. How many times have you seen these type of situations. And once again, I want to thank Joy Taylor for basically proving what a lot of men been saying, that all these situations should be a case by case basis. It can't be because somebody is of a certain gender, they say something and then, oh, well, you have to believe them. But it's a lot of fake notions and cliches, like a happy, a happy wife is a happy life, and everybody knows that's complete BS. And especially believe all women. And I don't want to hear this stuff. Well, there's actually women out there. Yeah, actually they are. But what about the ones that's just lying, and that's lying and pushing propaganda? What about them? But they're never held accountable. But they're supposed to be able to get away with this because they are quote unquote a woman. But then they're always talking about equality, that they're equal to us and that they don't want special treatment. Well, saying that you should be believing when you talk about an incident that happened with you because you're a woman, that doesn't make any kind of sense whatsoever. But boy, Joy, my God. You was really plotting on homeboy like that. And then not to mention that you was married. Says a lot about your character. Says a lot about you. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, I understand too. I understand too. When y'all see me doing those videos where I'm at the gym, I go to the gym between 3 and 5 o'clock in the morning. I do not go to the gym when a whole bunch of women are around. It's only one lady that comes to the gym, one or two ladies that I know on a regular basis. They say what's up, they keep it moving. But I don't go around women when they are at the gym working. I go the opposite direction because I don't want nobody accusing me of being a pervert. But I've already made that clear. Anybody falsely accuse me of anything, I'll see you in court. Oh, Malika. Malika Andrews' days may be numbered anyway, because we all know that ESPN licensed inside the NBA. So that means, in all likelihood, they're all coming to ESPN. I don't know about Ernie Johnson. I think Ernie Johnson, for it to work, I think he needs to be there, but they never said whether uh, Ernie Johnson was going to be there. But it looks like Charles Barkley is confirmed. It looked like all the other guys are confirmed. But Ernie Johnson was talking about he was going to probably stay at TNT slash TBS slash Warner Brothers. So as far as Malika Andrews go, come on. And now you start to wonder when ESPN had these layoffs and when you heard about certain people getting cut and certain people staying, you'd be like, okay, why did he get cut and she get to stay? And boy, I'm doing a lot of research on Malika Andrews. And some of the research that I've done on Malika Andrews, you really are not going to like her or not care for her, because from what I've been told, some of the research that I've been doing, it's some validity to her having an issue with black men, and that the fact that she hates who she is. Yeah, I was always like, okay, okay, why did she get to stay? Then you look at inside, I mean, well, not inside the NBA. You look at the NBA show on ESPN. I understand if you have women that actually played the game, but I don't like the idea where the women outnumber the men. I just don't like that. And I'm gonna say this again. I don't have no problem with women being there who's qualified to be there that had the experience. I've said this before. People like Cheryl Miller and Doris Burke, they earned their spot because they've been doing this for a while. They actually put in the work. But when you start seeing these people like Malika Andrews, some of these other people that you wonder, like, how did they get this elevated so far? How did they get to the position that they got? And I think what's going on is I think the networks think, oh, okay, well, we want to appeal to men if we have these women, these attractive looking women covering basketball and talking to the players, that's going to draw interest from men. But then at the same time, the athletes, uh, the the male employees that work at the network, you already know that there's certain wording that they have to use. They have to watch how they talk because just one word that's perceived to be inappropriate could get twisted and turned into something that may not be the big deal that they're going to make it out to be. And you have to watch out for that. At the end of the day, there's certain things, there's certain language that guys can use among guys. But when women there's certain dialogue you can't use because they'll say, oh, I feel uncomfortable. I feel it was inappropriate. They go to human resources. You getting called into the office by human resources. Then who knows? You either have to, issue a, apology, or you can get in trouble. So that's why you have this question mark about do they belong there or should they be there? And should they be a certain amount of them there? At the end of the day, it's a man's sport. It's a male dominated sport. Like I said, I have no problem with women working for the 49ers, working on working on the sidelines and all that kind of stuff. But I don't want it to oversee the point to where basically you trying to be politically correct by having people that shouldn't be there. That's the point that I'm trying to make. It's okay for them to be there, but did they earn the right to be there? Because if you just basically had an interview with them and then you just saw what gender they were and they looked decent and you put them in a position that they really didn't earn, or basically they offered to do special favors to, earn the spot, then that's not fair to the dude that's actually qualified, more qualified, and that could probably do a more efficient job than the woman that you got put in place there. I mean, can we keep it 100? Can we keep it 100? Probably not. Probably not. Because once again, you're not allowed to tell the truth. You're not allowed to speak your mind because you're going to be perceived as this. You're going to be perceived as that. And that's the fucking problem. You can't say what you want to say. As long as you go through the proper channels, that's fine. As long as you go through the proper channels, that's fine. Have no problem with that. But if you somebody that get leapfrogged in front of everybody else because of what you look like, and I think people need to understand, as men who are really into sports, deep into sports, we understand eye candy. We understand you want to have a good looking woman, but do they all need to be there? Because sometimes we want to see dudes that have more knowledge and common knowledge of the sport than women do. It's different when women talk sports versus men. Because let's just face the fact, I understand the WNBA, but women like breaking down MLB and breaking down the National Football League to a certain degree. I find that very peculiar because one, they don't have no women playing in the NFL. And like I said before, I remember the days of Jane Kennedy. You know, that was like in the 70s. She was one of the first female reporters. She worked for CBS, I think. She was married to the dude that played in the penitentiary movies, Leon Isaac Kennedy. And I understand that she was like, you know, she was sort of like a catalyst. And she basically opened the door. And that's cool when you open the door. But then at the same time, you could open the door, but then you don't want too many people coming through the door, unwanted people coming through the door. And I think that's the problem. What you see now in sport, you could just tell that they forcing things on you. They're forcing this kind of stuff. Well, I would hope not. I kind of don't understand what you're saying, but I kind of understand what you're saying. I mean, people see what's going on. I mean, for real, people see what's going on, and I just think running routes. Well, see, that's what I'm talking about. Cam Newton was a quarterback. Quarterbacks don't run routes. That's for wide receivers. And then sometimes running backs, is they put them in the receiver slot. Quarterbacks don't run routes. They run the option, but they don't run. But that's what I'm talking about. That right there. I'm gonna be honest with you. Probably heads are gonna roll. In, in all likelihood, everybody gonna be out the door. And I'm gonna tell you right now, Joy Taylor, she can kiss her career goodbye. She might as well get ready to start a podcast or whatever the case may be. She might want to send her resume in to Fox Soul or something. Yeah, I've been hearing about her too. I've been hearing about her too. See, the thing is, we can't have those conversations on mainstream media because one, they're not going to let us get our point across because they're going to try to cut us off and they're going to try to, once again, they're going to try to say, oh, you're being misogynistic and all this kind of stuff. The shaming tactics. But that's not accurate. That's not factual. You're just telling the truth. Why can't you tell the truth these days? Like I said, everybody is off limits except black people. You can't say certain stuff about women. Can't say certain stuff about the people with the small head. Definitely can't say stuff about people, from the Skittles community. Can't say nothing about anybody else except black people. We the only ones that's allowed to be attacked. And nobody is really called to the carpet. Nobody is basically called to apologize. But if we say something, we always got to apologize. This is why I say we ain't apologizing no more. Nobody apologizes to us, so we ain't apologizing to them. But I can't wait to see how this Joy Taylor thing is going to play out. I did not know that Jason Taylor was her brother. Had no idea. But then again, I never was checking for Joy Taylor like that. Of course it is. Of course it is. Of course it is. We all know that. We all know the play on that. But if you call it hypocrisy, you get called a misogynist. Once again, people are scared to have these conversations. And like I said, based off what you're hearing about Joy Taylor, I think a lot of dudes are sick of this. I think a lot of dudes are sick of this. I think a lot of dudes got to the point. Listen, I'm gonna say this again. I have no problem with women covering sports, but at the same time, I just want them to have earned they place there. And I think that's a fair assessment to basically say of anybody. Because remember, y'all, they've been telling us they ain't finna put us at Harvard or what's the other one? Harvard, Yale, because quote unquote, that's not fair. They consider affirmative action reverse racism, which by the way, there's no such thing as reverse racism. And it's kind of funny. The main people that was pushing to stop affirmative action was the Asians. And now that their asses is not getting into Harvard and Yale, now all of a sudden here they come talking about black people. Let's form an alliance. Oh, shout out to my black people. Shout out to my black people. Oh no, no, you're on your own. You're on your own because you were undermining us. You thought you was hurting us, but you actually screwed yourself. I don't know what reverse racism is. There's no such thing as reverse racism. Well, that lady, I wouldn't exactly say that the lady is black. She supposed to be Arab. I wouldn't exactly say Arab people or Pakistani people is exactly black. But I understand what you said. But Skip Bayless' ego was bruised. But like I said before, that's what I talked about in the video. It's all starting to make sense now. I mean, John, you on to something. You have to understand something. I've seen this happen so many times. Some of the wars that you saw in the streets or among men have been in behind a damn woman because one dude got mad because the other woman is just like what happened on the Mac. If anybody's seen that movie, The Mac, yeah, and she don't care about the feminist movement because if that's the case, she wouldn't have told the chick allegedly to keep her mouth shut. But as far as Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharp go, I've seen this happen so many times. If you've seen that movie, The Mac, with Max Julian and Richard Pryor, and uh, you remember the scene with Pretty Tony, where basically the girl she decided that she was gonna let Goldie be her pimp, and then Pretty Tony was mad because she chose Goldie. And he was like, "Oh, you a car thief? You shade tree nigga." He went to the light skin thing. He couldn't fathom the thought that basically the girl chose Goldie over him. And like dude said, the rules of engagement. You know the name of the game. Your bitch chose me. You supposed to handle it like gentlemen and walk away. But what did Pretty Tony do? He wanted to go to war over one girl. I done seen this in the streets happen so many times where you done seen dudes lose their life, put their life at risk over something that some woman said that in all likelihood wasn't as bad as she made it out to be. Some of the greatest men that have walked the earth downfall have been in behind a damn woman. Don't you remember New Jack City? Why did don't y'all remember New Jack City? Why, even though Wesley Snipes, Nino Brown broke the code, why did G Money spaz out on Nino Brown like that? Because Nino Brown took a bottom bitch from him. That's what that was all about. His ego was bruised. But at the same time, he should have kept it player PI. But at the same time, Nino Brown, she wasn't fine enough to let that come in between the money. She messed up the money. So Nino should have just told her to step. Well, that appears to be obvious now, Justin. But that's what I'm saying. I'm 50 years old. I didn't seen this kind of stuff. I didn't been in the streets. I didn't seen friendships end because of something some damn woman said or some lie that some woman told or instigated. Or because a dude get mad because the girl prefer you over him or vice versa. Listen, I didn't been in those situations. I done been in them situations. Look, I had my eye on the girl and she liked the homie. Okay, fine. That's just one. Brush your shoulders off. Because where one turn you down, the next three probably gonna say yes. But some dudes get so mad because that particular one, or they used to having any type of chick they want, and that one person go another direction, they get mad. And I'm gonna tell you this story. I told this before a long time ago. I remember I remember when me, my brother Big Saucy Boxing, we went to Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury 1 in Los Angeles. And we went with this dude. We don't mess with the dude no more. But he had it bad about trying to push up on a girl when she see her talking to somebody else or seeing her talking to somebody in the circle. He would come right behind you, and then of course he would try to play the role like, why you tripping? My thing is, there's plenty of women out here. Why are you trying to secretly compete with me? Because you want to, you want to prove to yourself that you the more flyer dude, or you could get the same. Like, I just never understood that stuff. And niggas like that, they dangerous. Them type of dudes are dangerous. Yeah, Skip Bayless is that type of dude. And we all that dealt with those type of dudes. The dude that's in your circle, they see your chick, they'll accidentally try to act like, oh yeah, you mess with so and so. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. I was with him the other day. Wasn't that you that called? And they do stuff like that. Or some of them will go as far as say, if you was with me, if you was with me, this will be happening, that'll be happening. I can give you, listen, everybody knows that's dry simping. You should never tell a chick what you could do for them more than the next dude. Because you already displaying yourself as a trick and she not going to respect you. I done seen that happen so many times. I'm pretty sure Skip Bayless probably was like, why would you like somebody like Shannon? I guarantee he probably told her, Shannon messes with a lot of women. No, I understand what you saying. We had to cut the dude off because for some reason, every time we went somewhere, if it wasn't me, he'd try to do it to somebody else in the circle. And I would keep asking myself, why did this nigga always want to talk to the girl that he didn't see us talking to? Why would you try to backdoor us right to our face? So that makes me think, what type of nigga is you? That's the type of dude that pillow talk. That's the type of dude that would tell a girl something that could lead to your demise. That's the type of dude that will sell you out. Them type of niggas is dangerous. And like I said, if Skip Bayless, and I'm just gonna say this, Skip Bayless is pathetic. He pathetic. Any person that would offer somebody almost $2 million to trick, you basically showing you ain't got no game. You ain't got no kind of game. You ain't got no. Skip don't have no game. 1.5. Who in the hell? Like, yeah, trick. Who in the hell? Listen, listen, listen. I wouldn't. I ain't offering. I ain't offering no chick 1,500. Let alone 1.5. You got to be, like I said, you got to be the most desperate of men to even offer. I'm talking about that's monumental tricking. And I'm gonna tell you right now, people finna laugh at Skip Bayless for the rest of his life. There is no way that Trick Bayless is gonna be able to live this down. Skip not gonna ever work among the TV circuit ever again. He done. He done. But I'm waiting to see how mainstream media is gonna play this out because there's people talking about this, but I feel not enough people. But yeah, Skip, not. He done at Fox, and ESPN didn't want him back anyway. Nobody's gonna hire Skip Bayless, and then let's just keep it a buck. Skip Bayless is in his early 70s, might be headed towards his mid 70s. So at this point, do you want to deal with somebody like Skip Bayless? Too much of a headache. He's not worth the effort. Well, my thing is, Udoka had a consensual affair, but the way they worded it, they made it look like he did something that was against the law. Yeah, but Marv Albert, I think his situation was a little bit before things got where they were now. Because keep in mind, they had social media is at an all time, you know, is at an all time high where social media really has influence now. We have the persuasion, we have the power. Whether people try to pretend like they not listening to us or not, even though we know they're listening to us because Skip Bayless is always stealing stuff from Too Raw for TV. Well, that's why we have to keep pushing this movement. That's why we got to keep. This is why we got to keep our mics open. This is why we got to keep making these videos. We want these people to have the same energy for guys like Skip Bayless that they have for Diddy, that they have for Jay-Z. Skip Bayless is disgusting. And if he made that comment about, well, you're Muslim and your father has probably 4 wives anyway, and then you hearing about people brushing up and touching on her and all that kind of stuff. Like I said before, this lady was a hairdresser. But this is why a lot of times, this is why it's always a slippery slope when you have women working in these type of environments. When you working in a male dominated, now listen, this is different from working at Fox News. You're talking about sports. There's a difference between working at Fox News, than working at, you know, FS1. There's a difference. Same type of environment, but different elements, different levels. Yeah, she's not white. I seen pictures of her. She went and got blonde hair to make her look more, you know, you more, make her, what's the word I'm looking for? Corporate inclined, the blonde hair, but the lady is like either Arab, Pakistani, and something like that. She's of the Muslim religion, but she's not white. She's not black neither. Well, yeah, this is what I'm saying. Uh Joy Taylor, her career should be over. And I think it probably is. I saw her. I didn't want to do a close up of her, but obviously you could tell she's not white, but she's not black neither. Yeah, South Asian, good. That's close enough. That's good enough. Close enough. But I want to see how they're gonna treat this story. Like I said, it looks like Skip Bayless is a perverted old man. And it comes to no surprise. I just want to see. Yeah, that's his name. That's his name, Trick Bayless. So that's his new name. We gonna call it. Well, what other way you can sum it up? How else? How else you want to present this? I can tell you this much to all the brothers that's listening to this stream. I could think of a lot more things to do with 1.5 million than wasted on a woman. That 1.5 would have invested. Yeah, I wonder why Harvey ain't said. I wonder why Harvey ain't said nothing, because he can't wait to put out a story when it's involving a black man. So yeah, where is TMZ? Yeah, I can't wait to see what Harvey has to say. I don't even see like what would make him like. Where did he come up with those figures? But I think Ticket said that probably when it was all said and done, somebody else said this probably he was gonna make her sign an NDA. I mean, you got to imagine being his wife, finding out that your husband offered a woman 1.5. That's life changing money. That's life changing money. But I give her credit if she said no and she said, "Hey, ain't you married?" I give her credit for that because I ain't gonna lie. Let's just keep it a hundo. If Skip made that proposition to to you know to 10 women, probably 9 of them would say yes. She probably the only one out of 10 that said no, because I can tell you right now, if he made that offer to anybody, it wouldn't matter what skin color they was, most of them would have jumped on it. That's life changing money. That's life changing money. Probably 1 million of it was for the actual experience, and probably 500,000 was to keep her mouth shut. Because I'm just keeping it a buck. And most women, they'll try to say, "Oh, I have standards, I have dignity," shit. Huh, huh. I'm just keeping it a buck. If he asked 10 women, probably 9 of them would have said yes without hesitation. They would have signed probably any NDA he would have presented to them. Of course not. Come on, Torian. I've been waiting for this. I've been warning people about Trick Bayless for years. Oh, shout out to my guy Torian. He's gonna pick up where I left off, and it's gonna be even more transparent. Like I said with Skip Bayless, he's had a history of this. I've watched this dude for over 20 years, 20 plus years, from when he worked in the Bay Area, when he worked for the San Jose Mercury News. Always take shots and make innuendos towards black athletes, but at the same time would use them to profit and make money off them. I'm gonna look and see what I don't even like giving dude any type of publicity, because dude, he doesn't like me very much. So every time I put something out about him, he tries to like mess with the channel. So because he can dish it out, but he can't take it. But this shows you the extreme that Skip Bayless came across as desperate. He just, I mean, it's no other way to put this except that he's desperate. And then you looking at Joy Taylor, she was about the Me Too homeboy. She was setting that dude up. She said she wasn't going away quietly, according to reports. So she already had something. Yeah, yeah, I know about. Yeah, that's true. That's true. That is absolutely true. But Joy Taylor proved that she is a fake feminist. As long as she benefits from it, it's all good. She just more proof that that feminist Me Too stuff is all cap. But anyway, you guys got to get ready for bed, got to get up and go to work. We definitely going to continue this talk because this is big news. But anyway, appreciate you guys.